Welcome to Live with Jill and Frank, episode
Number 50. I know because it's my
50, just like you. 50.
Yes.
Okay, my
I
name's
will
Jill
never repeat
Petrie.
that again.
I am a psychic medium, and
And I am Frank, and I am a mystic coach.
tonight we're going to be exploring the topic of prayer and its effectiveness. It's one of our topics.
It was a question I saw on Facebook. Does prayer work? And I said, hey, let's try that. I don't know. Does
And
it work?
so, what's your opinion? I have my opinion.
Okay, see, I think the first thing we need to do is define prayer,
Mm-hmm.
or else we'll never get to the same place because I don't like. Maybe it's just me. I don't get how people define. When I hear somebody say, "Oh, I prayed for this to happen to me," right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, to me, I've always thought, but doesn't God already know better than you what's good for you?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? If you're gonna pray to an omnipresent, omnipotent being, why are you gonna say like, "Hey, send me money"? If he thought you needed money, he'd send you money. Now,
Mm-hmm.
what might be a better, useful way is to say, give me, like, let me know what is your will for me, right? What is your, what is the, because there's, okay. Yeah, let's keep it at that for now. And then we'll get deeper because I want to hear yours first.
Okay, so for me, it's just an intention. You can call it prayer, you can call it intention, you can call it different things. It's all the same thing. It's I'm not heavy into reciting prayers like you know how they have different
Hmm.
prayers that people have to learn to go through religion. I'm not into that. I don't pray on a rosary or anything else. Um so I don't believe in the prayer that most people would be considering when we say prayer.
Well, that's what I'm wondering about is, would most people agree even? Like, do people always, like, everybody uses the word prayer, but do we
I
all
think
mean the same
majority of the
thing?
people that I know um in my area would say yes. No, they don't agree because it's a Catholic community. I'm trying so hard not to use that word.
Why? No, it's okay. It's okay. Like, there's, okay, so by definition, I mean, let's start by asking, does a Catholic, a Muslim, a do all different religions pray the same way? Because
Mhm.
then it starts by, hey, if we have 16 different ways of prayer, then now we gotta go, okay, wait a minute.
I don't believe in having to pray to pray because a book tells you to. I believe in praying from your heart and what you feel you want to say. Whether it's something that you recite over and over
Hmm.
or it's something that you just say randomly every time, it's up to what the person feels comfortable with. Like, but if someone feels comfortable with reciting a specific prayer over and over, that's okay too.
Hmm.
That's that's
So
their
you would use it a
that's
little bit to, what's the word, as a mantra, sort of, a little bit.
I wouldn't use it as a mantra, but I would use a mantra. I
Okay,
just
then.
wouldn't use specific. Like if I was to use a mantra, I would randomly choose one. I wouldn't choose one for a specific reason, like a prayer would be done, if that makes sense.
Well, I'm trying to understand because you say like something repeated, right?
Hmm.
And so I'm trying to see why the repeated, why the, like,
That's just my thing.
okay, but what does the repeating accomplish versus if you did it once?
Sometimes you need to put more energy, and the more you repeat it, the more energy goes into it.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. That makes, yeah, I agree with that part. I I do use some prayers that I got. I don't know, different places over the years, that but it was because that prayer meant something to me when I read it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, here's an example. I mean,
And
I'm a recovering alcoholic and addict, so I have the Serenity prayer that I use all the time. Right
mhm.
now, I don't use it so much as a prayer, but I do, like, I use it. It's a reminder. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's a really like, you know what the Serenity prayer
And
is.
I have, yeah, I have
Okay.
a little plaque with the Serenity Prayer on it. Um I don't even know how to answer because it's like I don't have anything against the prayer,
Hmm.
but it's not something that I would just recite on a normal basis. Like, I think it's a cute prayer, so I have it on a plaque,
Hmm.
but yet I don't pray it. I
But what
guess
if I
because
said it's actually practical advice
it
more than a
is.
prayer? It's just
That's
practical
why I have
advice,
it
right?
right, and that's why I have it on a little plaque. But to say prayer in like specific prayer, no.
Well, here's why I said there's a couple of that I do, right. There's the Serenity prayer, and then I have a prayer that I use to it's to remind. See, the whole reason why I would use or not use, but either use or make one, but make a prayer that might be repeated or whatever, is just to a little bit like a mantra to um, imbued myself with it. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
to remember it all the time. Like the one I do is basically about serving others rather than trying to serve my own needs all the time,
Hmm.
right? Um, and that's one that I repeat because for me that's one that had meaning, that was important,
Right.
and that I need to be reminded of because my ego wants to take over and whatever. But
Hmm.
then if I repeat it, then I'm mindful of it each day.
So basically, I guess the how I feel about it is I don't repeat prayers because a specific religion tells me to. I will repeat a prayer if I'm attracted to it.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
No matter which religion it comes from. If I feel drawn to a prayer and I like it, I will repeat it. But I'm not going to be told which prayers I need to repeat. Does that make sense?
That makes absolute sense. That makes sense with everything in terms of spirituality. I mean,
Right.
how could I tell you what prayer is going to do good for you?
Right.
I have no way of knowing. I mean, I know you and I know what you're going through. So yeah, I may say, hey, check out this prayer. You might like it.
Mhm.
But that's as
Right.
far as it goes. I can't
Right.
know what's going to work for you. And yes, so now at that point, I guess we're putting all organized religions a little bit
Right.
on the chopping block here with that. But
And maybe that's why, because I do not believe in religion at all. I
mhm,
do not believe in any religion. Um I believe I believe religion is good for some people, but for me it's
yes,
not.
okay, yeah, in that respect, I agree. Uh, but I do still think that it's good for some people because that's just where they're at.
Mhm.
It's the same thing. I'm looking at the world going crazy these days, and I'm going like, okay, like I get involved, right? I get intensely, like I'm like, oh my god, what's going on in the world, and da 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 da. But at the same time, I have to remind myself it's because there's 80% of the population that has no clue about nothing else but physical life.
Mhm.
That's all they know. They go to work, they come back home, they watch TV, whatever. And so for those people, somebody like that was the idea primarily, right? Like the priest would go study and then bring back to the masses what he had found out. Now, problem is the minute you say to somebody, hey, you stand on the stage and tell us all, it doesn't practically work because
Right.
eventually there's the desire for control that comes. There's the ego gets into it and then it becomes a whole different thing.
Right.
But initially, I think that was all it was, is just, okay, let's have this one guy study the book and then tell us what it
Mhm.
is, right? Then the guy said, hey, I can tell them anything I want. So And
And
then
then another
politics
guy
get
came
involved.
along and said, "Hey, I can change these words around."
And if we talk to the king and we get him to say this with us, and we make every other religion evil, and we got a show. We're doing the same thing with science right now. Did I say that out loud?
Mhm. You did.
We are doing that with science right now. We're turning it into
Why?
a religion. Why? Because
Oh,
now,
yeah.
well, yeah, because now it's the science. They're telling us to believe the science, and then once
Mhm.
we look at scientific facts and researches, and you find that there's a lot of contradicting stuff. There's a lot of, you know. But here's okay. I feel bad quoting that guy, but who said it? It was Soros, I think, that said that. Um, it's okay. There's so much information available in the world, right? Everybody says like, no, the government shouldn't make the decisions for me. I should be allowed to make all my decisions. Here's the problem: there's way more information in the world right now than any one person can handle, right? So having an actual full picture of the world is impossible. Now, what has to happen in order for things to make sense is people reduce things to oversimplified uh speaking points or whatever, and then from there most people go, oh, okay, that made sense. But the truth is, it is so reductive, it is so far from what the full picture would be, that we can never know. We don't have an actual full picture. We don't have all the information. We have all the
Yeah,
information, but
because
we
we
don't
can't
handle it
handle it.
right. Yeah, we can't handle all the information we have. So we reduce it. Like in his sentence, the way he said it, he said that's the purpose for propaganda. He said
Mhm.
propaganda is because nobody can have all the information, so we
Uh,
feed them the relevant.
Imagine if you had time to like just sit around all day and lay down on the ground and look at the sky and think.
That's what I do.
No, not every day. But
Not
like
every day.
most people are busy with their lives, with kids, with jobs, with
Mm-hmm.
um it could be anything, hobbies, whatever they're interested in. And all those things keeps them busy and keeps their mind on whatever they're working on at the minute. But imagine if you could let your mind go and really think about what in the hell are we doing here? Floating in the middle of nowhere on a basketball with all these things on it, all this water staying there, and like just think about all of these things that I'm thinking about right now,
And now
and
that you've mentioned like all these insane things,
let your mind wander.
okay, now that you've mentioned all
You would
that
start freaking
vastness of
out.
stuff, right?
Hmm.
Now imagine how fucking tiny that thing is versus the universe.
Yeah,
It is a not even a grain of sand on a beach. Not even. It's
and you
smaller.
really think that we're alone on this little basketball floating in the middle of nowhere?
Where did I read that? Somebody said the idea that we're alone in the universe is no. I'm gonna paraphrase and I'm gonna do it wrong, but it would be the most incredible thing in the world to find out that it would be the most, what's the word I'm looking for? Like it's almost like
Impossible.
unthinkable that we would be alone in the universe, and yet it's almost unthinkable that we wouldn't be alone in the universe.
It it's unthinkable that we are alone, I think.
I think
To
so too.
me,
Well,
there
especially at
has
this point.
got to be, you know, other I was always told space never ends.
Well, if we're to believe the whistleblowers that just came out of your government, then you guys
So,
own a bunch of UFOs.
I'm
Haven't
sure
you?
we do.
Haven't you seen that? They've actually came
Have you
out and
saw
said
the
it now.
Well, have you seen the new car? Changing the subject
No,
a
no,
little
but
bit.
like, okay,
The
your
flying
government
car?
came out and said, like, some people from your government, from like deep in your government, came out and said, multiple people came out and said, we have UFOs. We've been working on them and trying to reverse engineer them, and we have a couple of aliens.
And we keep shooting them down.
Now, the problem is, are we to believe them? Are they saying that because they want to give us a new boogeyman from which to protect us? I don't know. But at the same time, I mean, everybody's been saying they have UFOs and
I'm sure
whatever
they
for
do.
years. It's but do we really
Sure they
trust
do.
Biden if they show up and they say can we speak to your leader?
They probably have him and didn't even tell him when he got elected
Actually,
because they couldn't trust him.
they're the only ones that can understand him.
We're gonna get kicked off.
I know,
Shut
right?
up, Frank.
I'm sorry. I could I could do equal jokes on any of the politicians, so it's not a preference for one. They're all screwed
Did
up.
I tell you Rusty's thinking about running for politician?
Really?
Yeah.
Holy moly! Well, I wouldn't vote for him. I don't understand the thing he says. But the people that would vote for him live in Louisiana, so they'll
hmm
understand him.
hmm
Oh wow, that's gonna be fun. That's interesting.
No, not
No, uh,
no, not a good idea. I don't think.
you don't think? No, I don't know. Well, yeah, but what matters is does he think it's a good idea?
And back to
So
the original subject.
yes,
So,
back to um,
um, or we can go to prayers or aliens. I like both topics.
um. Well, the one topic I know less. So aliens, I don't know much about. I don't. I'm waiting for one to
Neither
show
do
up at
I,
my
but the
door to.
unknown. But back to my original,
Mhm,
what I was saying. Imagine like you have time in a day to just stare and just think about all of these things.
mhm.
You People literally could lose their mind thinking about all of these things. That's why you're so busy in life is because that keeps you busy so you're not wondering and makes you able to handle things that you're just unsure about and you don't
Well,
have time to think about them
okay.
often.
What if I came at it from the exact opposite? Because I go in the forest and stare at the sky, and I
Yes,
even
but
wait
there
for the
are
sky to respond.
I
That's how
know, but
crazy
there
I am.
are people that could handle it. That's what I'm saying. For the majority of people, they can't. Like
I couldn't before.
they would freak out.
I would have freaked
I
out
don't think
before.
I always could either.
I couldn't
I
before.
probably I may or may not still be able to handle it.
I the reason I started developing it was because a friend of mine had a book about a place up north here where you can go for a week and you'll get a little cabin, and other people have a cabin in the woods too, but you're not
Mhm.
allowed to talk to nobody, whatever, you just kind of do your little thing in the woods and in your, around your cabin and whatever. You can walk if you want, you can walk the woods, but
Mhm.
just don't disturb the others. And that's the whole purpose, is to go spend a week in silence.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
And it
And they
freaked me
say
out
it
when I heard
changes
that.
you because,
Oh god, yeah.
especially in today's world with the technology we have,
Hmm.
you know, I remember when I first started having children, we didn't have cell phones back then. That's how old I am. And going from back then to now
Hmm.
that we do have cell phones and computers, I couldn't imagine one day without some sort of electrical device in my life.
Oh god, I wish
Like
I
I
could
could
have
not
that.
imagine it. But go to on one of these retreats where they put you in, they take your cell phone, they take your laptop, you don't have anything.
It'd
You're
be
just
amazing.
in nature with yourself and your thoughts. And you're forced to face your
Inner
your
demons,
yeah, your
yourself.
traumas.
You're forced to think about what you're doing here, because you're alone with yourself.
Right.
You can't blame anybody for what's going on. You're alone with yourself. You can't, whatever. So everything comes, and but there's even worse than that. I was watching Marcus Aubrey Marcus. That guy is like his podcast. If you guys want to watch a good podcast outside of ours, it's very good. But that guy, he did something, and it freaked me out. Like even that, I don't know if I could, because he was in a deprivation tank. So it's like there, it's
Mhm.
full out darkness. You don't feel yourself. You don't like nothing, and didn't eat. And he was in there for, I don't remember, but it was, I think it was like 3 days or something ridiculous, like some massive amount of time. And he says at that point, you don't feel your body. You literally have nothing else feeding you any kind of input except your mind.
Mhm.
And
Oh, there's a
that I'd
movie,
get scared still.
that's kinda similar to this. What is it? It's Tom Hanks, where he was a FedEx delivery plane or something,
Oh, where
and he
he's
goes
on the
down on an
island.
island for years and
What was it
years.
called again? It was such a good movie too, with
Yeah,
Wilson,
I
Isbal
forgot. Yeah,
Wilson.
Wilson!
It
Wilson!
was a very good movie.
I'm sorry, Wilson!
Well, there was also
Yeah,
the one with Will Smith there, where he ends up alone on Earth.
really?
Yeah, it's the end of the world, and he's all alone on Earth. The entire movie is only Will Smith. The entire movie is just him.
What's the name of it?
Ah, shit. Anybody can chime in? Yeah, that would be a good time.
Yeah.
um, I don't know. Oh, crap. Wait up. Let me look it up.
So he's alone?
Yeah,
Wow.
and it actually it was a good.
I kind of have to watch it now because I want to know how it ends.
It is a great movie. Very good movie. Let me. All right, where am I? Stay. No. Why can't I see it? What was it again?
Independence Day?
No, no, no. Independence Day was the one with the aliens there. Why can't I?
I don't think I watched that one completely either, but I saw parts of that one.
Why can't I find it? That's not all his movies here. Was it? Oh, it's I Am Legend.
I Am Legend.
Yeah, very good movie. When was it? 2007.
Oh wow, it's been a while.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch
most
it.
movies I've watched are old. I don't watch new movies, but yeah, that's what it is, right? He's alone, and it's. But yeah, it's something. But that's the thing, right? Like everything, you look at the way we live. That's
Hmm.
all it is, and it drives me nuts because, like, I'm starting to understand why you see all those monks like on the top of mountaintops and whatever. It's because at some point,
Hmm.
the same things that you're saying that people do in order to handle life, um, at some point, those things you start going like, oh, those are the things that keep me from being able to ascend. Those are the glue that keeps me in the matrix. My TV is the glue that keeps me in the matrix. My the entertainment everywhere. Yeah, because what am I doing while I'm getting entertained? Nothing. I am passive. I am like I say that to Noah all the time. I go, okay, Noah, don't move. And then I lift the monitor on the computer and I go, so what are you doing today? Moving your index finger, aren't you? That's all you're doing. Everything you're experiencing does not exist in real life right now, except your right index finger moving on the mouse. Because in reality, you're sitting in a chair, you're doing nothing,
Hmm.
but you're packing your brain with all kinds of stuff. And you're like, okay, so it's avoidance. We're avoiding ourselves.
Yes, we are.
And it's tough not to. It, it's tough because at first, there's a lot of shit that comes up. That's the problem. Is that until you do a week alone or one of those things, anything that
Hmm.
forces you to look at yourself and to go, what's going on with my life? How do I feel? Then you find out, one, that you carry a shitload of stuff from before, and then you have to deal with a lot of stuff from before that you dealt with by using entertainment.
Right.
And then eventually, once you've gone through everything that was in the past, now you're left with today. And
Hmm.
being left with
And
today makes all the difference in the world because now you live in the present. And it's fantastic. It's, I mean, yeah, stuff comes back, but it's that whole,
that's why it's important to go through like healing periods between relationships and stuff too,
yes,
to
indeed.
give yourself time to be ready.
And to know, okay, what went wrong? What did I not like?
What
What
can
did
I
I
do different
like?
next time?
Yeah, where does that leave me? And also I find to prevent, like, as long as you're still gonna go in the next relationship going, oh good, he's not like what's his face, then you're not ready. If
Mhm.
you say, like, oh good, he doesn't do this thing that the other one did, no, you're still comparing them, so you're not at the right spot yet. Once you've completely finished with the one, when the other one comes, you won't, because you've absorbed all the things. You've taken your part,
Mhm.
you've, gave it, left them their part. And now you come in a new relationship and you're coming on a blank slate and not a baggage of, oh, I must hate you because you wear red shirts and that's what Bob wore. You know, it's like you got to let go of that. I saw an amazing description of what forgiveness and all that letting go is. And now it's not going to come back to me. Crap. All right, never mind. I hate how I do that. Doesn't matter. How about I was wanting to tie. I wrote a couple of topics there, and there's a couple that actually tie into what we're talking about. And there was one that was the role of silence and stillness.
Mhm.
And
Very
so
important.
that's, I think, what it is, right? What is meditation really? It's taking the time to just be,
You
right? Like, not try to do something, not
let
try to go
everything
somewhere,
go.
not just go, okay, let's just be, breathe, be human, be living, be. How often do you just live? No, we're always like, oh, I'm going there, I'm doing this, I'm going to do that, I'm coming back from here, I'm doing that, blah, 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 blah. When do we just say, just stand? Right? The minute, most people, the minute they sit and get quiet, they freak out. They want to leave, they want to, no, just be happy to just be here. But that takes a while. That needs cultivating a sense of awe and wonder.
The the thing is with we all have things that we're unhappy about or we could use a little less of and things we could use a little more of.
Mhm.
That's normal. That's life. But focusing on the negative brings more negative. It's important to try to focus on the positive even if the positive is less than the negative. Focus on that positive and put all your energy into that positive, and then sooner or later the negative is just going to diminish on its own.
Well, it's also because the positive. Let's say you have a child, right, and the child is doing something you don't want them to do, right? They're, I don't know, they're ripping your couch apart. I don't know. I can't think of something. um, you could tell the kid stop, right? Or they're doing whatever activity, but you don't want them to do that. And you could try to stop them. But if all you're doing is going, stop, 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 what you're doing is not sending an energy. You're trying to block an energy, right? Because his energy is going like this way. You'd like it to go that way, but all you're doing is trying to stop it from going that way. In the meantime, that child is still full of energy, regardless if you let them or not. So the better action is to look at the child and to say, hey, check this out, and show them something else that you'll know will grab their attention and dispense that energy. And next
Mhm.
thing you know, they're gone to play with that, and you don't have the problem anymore. Now,
Mhm.
what you did is use the energy available versus attempting to stop it. Negative is attempting to stop an energy, it's attempting to
Right.
not be something, right? No, make it something different. Like, if you want to stop smoking, you don't say, I don't want to smoke. You say, I don't smoke. I'm a non smoker. I'm not a.
Right.
You make it an affirmation in the,
Even if you
you know,
if you quit for 6 hours, you
yeah,
were a non-smoker for 6 hours. So
I'm a healthy non smoker. That's what I am. From the very minute I quit, it's important too. Like the way I quit with using, anybody that wants to quit smoking, I'm gonna plug that guy till I'm blue in the face. The easy way to stop smoking by what's his first name? Carr, Carr. Um, that guy, that book, it's insane. You go on Amazon, there's literally 1,200 comments. Out of the 1,200, there's probably 1,000 that say, I read the book, I quit smoking. I read the book, I quit smoking. I read the book, I quit smoking. It is incredible. But all he does is that.
It's not just for smoking though, right?
Well, that book is just for smoking, but now he's written other ones for substance, for whatever. Like he's like, because the idea that he uses kind of works. Uh,
Right.
so it's because what he does, he takes away all the reasons, right? So he goes, okay, like I'll use the example, the most obvious example. It relaxes me, right? Every smoker will say it relaxes me. Now, let's say that a smoker and a non-smoker each live the exact same stress, and both of them, let's assume, by their makeup, are very similar people, if not the same, except one smoke, one doesn't. So they both go through the same stress. Both of them end up with a level 7 of stress, let's say. Now, the smoker, within an hour, will be at an 8 level of stress because they also have a 1 point of stress from I'm craving a cigarette.
Right.
Now they go smoke a cigarette. Oof, they're back to being a 7. Okay, the guy that doesn't smoke, he never left from being a 7. He never got to be an 8. He just stayed a 7. The smoker goes 8, 7, 8, 7, 8, 7. And he goes, no, it relaxes me. No, it relaxes you from the stress that your previous cigarette caused.
Mhm.
So if you didn't have the previous cigarette, you would never have the stress that went away. So your stress came from the cigarettes. It didn't go away because of the cigarette. The only reason it went away, what you made go away, was the jonesing. It was the craving for the cigarette that went away, not the other stress. Nothing changed about the fact that, I don't know, your husband left you or whatever the hell happened. You know what I mean? None of that
Mhm.
changed. So, but people think, because when you look at the actual action of tobacco on the brain, it does not relax. It's an upper. It can't relax you. It's a stimulant. So it stimulates your brain. So, but we feel as though, I felt as though it relaxed me back then. I did. Uh, so he goes through every single one, right? We say it's a social thing. Really? Then why is it after supper there's 12 people still sitting at the table and I'm alone outside smoking? How social is that? They're
Mhm.
still talking, enjoying each other, whatever. I'm the one outside. Okay, there might be two of us, and that's why we say, oh, it's social. No, it's not. It's very antisocial. People don't want to be around you while you're smoking, right? Because it stinks. People, you have to
Where's our
leave.
comments, Frank?
What's that?
We have not checked comments. Okay.
Oh yeah, there's.
Last week we had a good bit of comments.
I know. Um, yeah, but we came in a little later today, so it's okay. But yeah, so I find, like, so that's what he does. He takes away everything, and then by the end, it's not that you've managed to quit smoking. No, you just have no more reasons to smoke, so you kind of go, okay, whatever. You look at a cigarette and you go, why would I want that? It does nothing for me, so why do I want it? And then the actual addiction, like that, lasts 3 days. You crave for 3 days, and that's it. And the stupid part, you know why people gain so much weight when they quit? It's because the craving is not that harsh and it feels exactly like hunger. So people go, I'm hungry. No, you're craving cigarettes. Don't eat. It'll be okay. It'll pass in a minute. You can literally, my dad showed me that when he quit. You can literally time them. A craving will be about a minute, 2 minutes, whatever, and then it'll pass. Or you'll go eat.
Unless, yeah.
Because that's what people do. They go eat because they go, I don't know. I guess it's funny because I did the opposite. I smoked when I was hungry. So maybe there's a sort of a link at the same time or something with the stomach. I don't know.
But it's also easy to trade one habit for another.
Yes. Oh God, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, you can't replace something with something. It doesn't really work. The only place that I hesitate to say that it wouldn't be good is because we were talking the other day about heroin and methadone and a few of
Hmm.
those things where some of those, because they have such a hardcore physical withdrawal, then I understand, right? You're trying to not have the person die. But if you're talking about anything else that does not have that kind of physical, then yeah, I totally agree.
That's why it's important to go into a facility when you're detoxing, because coming off of things can mess you up.
Well, yeah, it's definitely not easy. Definitely not easy. I It was funny the last time I quit smoking. I because I tried before and it had failed, and the last time I quit smoking. Anyways, I'm not going to get into that story. Let's just. So, what about the importance of self care and self love?
That is very important. That's how you. I just had this conversation with Carly earlier. Um, because that's how you are able to do the things you want to do, is by, and then, if you can't love yourself, how can you expect anybody else to love you?
Hmm. Well, especially since the world is a mirror. So, if you don't love yourself, what do you mirror?
Hmm.
um, and you can tell the difference too, right? You meet people every day, right? And when you meet people, you can tell. You can tell the person that loves themselves. Well, actually, these days you can tell the person that loves themselves a little too much too,
Hmm.
because we have a few of those. Although even then, it's not even true. That's the problem. It's not even love. What about that? What about the? Because there's actual true self love where you're like confident. You know who you are. You present yourself to the world as who you are. You have no, you don't care about what people think. You don't like that part, right? um but then it can also take a different, like a lot of what you see now, it's narcissism. It's not self-love. It's a deficiency, right? Like people that post themselves like nonstop and da 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 da, and that's all they like. They live only for that, right? Like I somebody sent me a message the other day, like a DM or whatever, and I went and looked at the person's profile, and I literally went through, I think, 5 years of only pictures of her. All there was just pictures of herself, and I was like, okay, you know what? I don't know, and I can't say that that's how but I mean, to me, it gave me. I was like, wow, what would I can't fathom. I can't imagine myself going like, oh, the world must want to see me so bad. I'm going to post myself like twice a day. Like it really puzzles me to see all that, and there's a lot of that these days. There's so much of it, and it drives me. I don't like. I see it and I go, oh my god, what is wrong? What is happening? Am I the only one? I hope not.
I doubt it.
I hope not. But like, you know what I mean? It's they're all like Instagram models. Okay, cool. I'm a gangster in GTA. Like it's Instagram is not. If you're a model, you work for a model agency. You
Hmm.
don't post yourself on Instagram. Um,
But
well,
if that
maybe you
makes
do.
you feel good, then that's fine.
Well, it depends. Yeah, but here's the deal. Masturbation makes me feel good. Should I masturbate all day?
If it makes you feel good, why not?
Well, why not? Because I
Some
will.
people should, some
Because I
people
won't be
shouldn't.
working anymore. Because I will be doing all. Because number one, physically, there's going to be eventually like there's going to be a lot of things that are going to not make me functional if I do that. I'm not going to be a functional person.
Okay. Well, then you would obviously need some kind of help.
Like
So,
if somebody tells me I'm a narcissist, but I like it. It's like, okay, but you're like that. That is a problem, not a thing to be. Like it's a that's what I mean. Like between self love and narcissism, there's a huge difference. And these days, we have a lot of narcissism. Like they're not, because those
Definitely.
people
But
don't
we
love
also have a lot of
themselves.
people going around just using that word, and
I
that
didn't say
doesn't mean.
narcissist. I said narcissism. There's a big difference between the two words. Narcissist is a
But
diagnosis. Narcissism is not a diagnosis. It's a thing. Like it's just being narcissistic.
I get it. But there's a lot of people using that word, calling people narcissistic that really aren't,
Well, that's, I mean, number
just
one, I
because the
would
word
not.
is getting to be so common.
It's because people, especially in empath circles, people have decided to like hate the narcissists. I don't know why. Well, I know why, but it's not a, like, no, not everybody that gets called a narcissist. I mean, number one, unless you're a shrink, don't be calling people anything that's diagnosis, that's a diagnostic. You know what I mean? If I said, "Oh, Jill, you're probably ADHD," or "Hey, Jill, you're probably whatever," or schizo, or what do I know? I don't have the training to tell you you're that. So yeah, then don't call people stuff. But narcissism exists, and we do have a problem with it in society right now because
Hmm.
everybody's self-centered. Everybody's centered on me, 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 me. Like you listen to people, I'm gonna get me a relationship. Oh, good. What are you looking for in a relationship? I'm looking for that person to treat me well, that person to do this for me, that for me, this me. And it's like, okay, what are you offering? What are you saying you're gonna do for the, like nobody will answer like, oh, I'm gonna try to love them good. Oh, I'm gonna, try to see if I can help them. And no, everybody's like, well, I better feel loved. Oh, I better be loved. I better, and it's like, no, that's the prayer I was saying earlier. That's precisely why I repeat it, in order to not fall in that pattern. Because once you make it all about you, then what's left? Like nobody is gonna make everything about you. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So when you show up and you go, "Hey, everybody, make everything about me," they go, "Okay, we're gonna go now." Like it's not, when you talk to these people, and I say these people, I'm generalizing, right? Like, but obviously, it's not everybody on Instagram. It's not everybody who's a model. It's not, yeah, sure, but if you're in that space where it's all like, showing and showing, most of those people that I've met, they have no self love. Once you actually like I've seen so many people that literally, I have a way with words, right?
You think maybe that's why they're looking for attention?
Yes. Yes, because they can't get it from themselves. They have no self-love, so they rely on likes, they rely on other people going, "Oh, you're so swell." And what do you think? And this is the reason social media has become such a problem with young teenage girls. That's why like their suicide rate has gone up like dramatically since social media. Why? Because they go, oh, I get the likes. Oh, I get the likes. Oh, I get. Why didn't I get the likes on this post? What's going on? Oh my god! Ah, and all of a sudden, their entire identity falls apart because nobody liked their post. Whatever. Maybe you posted at the wrong time and nobody saw it. Maybe you like, but they rely on that, right? Like that's that little endorphin and whatever boosts that they get all the time, and that's what they rely on. That's what they think happiness is an endorphin
Hmm.
boost. So now when that endorphin boost goes away, they're sad. They become dysfunctional because they're like, well, what do I do? Nobody cares anymore.
Right.
Do you care? Like, how about you care about you? But they don't. And then how many do you see now? Because now we've had social media long enough that we have, women getting older now and getting past their, I'm gonna show myself years, if you will. And all of a sudden they're like, holy shit, man, like my life is empty. What is, and they don't comprehend why. And it's like, oh, you never actually focused on making your life good. You just focused on having everybody admire you or something. And now that they don't, now you're left with the emptiness that was under. And that's the part I find really tough, is seeing these people come out after and be like, oh my God, what the hell happened? That's why I think social media is a very, very, it's a double sided sword. It's got a lot of benefits, but it also has a lot of risks. We get people that,
Definitely.
people attach too much to those little likes and those little whatever, and it's like, look, man, you're gonna say stuff. Some people will like it, some people will not. Some people, like I had somebody say, make a comment on one of my posts, and it was a weird negative comment, and I was like, okay, what's this guy all about? And I went to their profile, and in their entire profile, there was not one positive thing said about nothing. So I'm like, okay, well, like, what am I expect? Am I ever like if I
That's
wanted their
common.
like, right? If I wanted to have their like or their like, I mean, I that's never happening. That guy
But
goes and
some
hates on people.
people, but that those are what, like what I was saying earlier. Some people have such a negative, have some negative things and some positive things, but they focus more on the negative
Hmm.
things. Like
Especially on the
they're
internet.
worried about fixing things. So, and that's all, like focus on positive and you're gonna attract positive. Focus on negative and you're gonna attract negative.
Well,
Same
social
thing.
media is a weird place for that because I know people that in everyday life are good people. Like they're just, very regular people, whatever.
You have to.
They get on the internet and it's like, no, no, if you get on the internet, you get there to go piss off people. Come on. You get there to inflame conversations and that, and you're like, oh, really? But that person in
Social
real life.
media starting to be like how celebrities, how they always have somebody after them. Like they're not after you in person, but they're attacking you online
Hmm.
constantly. It takes a strong person to be able to handle that. If you're a
Yes.
person that's depressed and things affect you strongly, you shouldn't be on social media posting all kind of things because you're gonna get people that's gonna say negative.
Somebody's going to hate.
Yeah,
Of
no
course.
matter what.
Yeah, there's always haters. There's
You
always
have
going
to
to be
be able to just brush that off.
haters. Yeah. But it's weird though that on the internet, some people you'll meet that are absolutely, assholes on the internet. In real life, they would be completely different. That really puzzled me why people do that. It's like they have an alter ego that they bring to the internet where they go, I'm going to destroy people now. And then they go back to their everyday life and, they're not a bad person. They're not, but it's like, because you hear them, they say, oh yeah, that's what the internet's for. And you're like, really? So that's why you go on social media just to like rile up people and stuff, like just to kind of and you're like, okay, great. And so once you consider that, you go, oh, okay, yeah, no wonder the internet is so weird. No wonder you have people jumping in your face about anything. Like you can literally, it's funny because there's even memes about that, right? Somebody will show I don't know, a wrench, and they go like, because people will argue about anything on the internet. Here's a wrench, and they just put a picture of a wrench
Right.
because they're like, people will argue it. They'll find a way. They'll say, "Oh, that's not a
And then
wrench."
everybody's reacting, like why do you feel the need to react? Why do you feel the need to share all your business
Hmm.
on the internet? Like, why?
It's,
It's
I think, relevance.
because
I think people want relevance because they don't have any anymore. We've made people irrelevant. We've made people because, like, you go out, you don't meet people. You go
mhm.
and nobody cares, and everybody's like, yeah, whatever, and nobody's got time for nobody. And no, I'm saying it like nobody. That's not true.
It's
Like, there's
probably
some
a good
people, but
thing that they're all not doing it in person because they would be really hurting each other.
no.
I
Here's
mean,
the problem, though. Nobody would do it in person. You know what I mean? What you're
well, there
willing to
are
say
some
to
people
some,
that hide behind their screens, but there are some people that are serious.
well, yeah, but I mean, but they're still hiding behind their screen. You know what I mean? They're still using that medium to go and bash people. Because if
Mhm.
they went on the streets and tried to do what they're doing online, they would get arrested. If you go around and start telling people, hey, you're fat, hey, you're ugly, hey, you're an asshole, hey, blah, blah, blah.
Internet bullying is a thing, people.
Oh,
It
for
is
sure.
definitely a thing.
For sure. There's a lot of that.
And especially if you're empathic, a lot of empathic people can't handle things, on the internet. So don't post your life if you can't handle it because you got to take some of the bad ones and just pick them out.
Well, here's one of the things that it did that really is disturbing is like teenage girls, because it's always been that back in the day, right? Like there was always politics between teenage girls, and it's like, there's some pretty hardcore hate between them sometimes. But what would happen is you would get bullied at school, and then at night you would go home and be okay, be with your family, whatever, and then you'd go back to school, and okay, again, you're stuck with the bullies the next day. Now they go home and the bullies follow them on social media and they continue bullying them. So the bullying is now 24/7 and is involving other people that, the people at your school didn't even know, because now they're targeting your entire Facebook, and that's what's happening. And so that's why the suicide rate has become insane. There's so many things that it does to young people. Uh, we should at least have either have an age limit or have a actually
Age
everybody
limit on what?
bashed him for on like you shouldn't be able to go when you're a teenager. We should keep it
Go
for
where?
later. On the internet, on social media,
Oh yeah, definitely.
on social media.
Um, but the
It's
thing is, everything's online now. Like
I know
yeah, there should be a ban on social media, and actually, it is up to a certain age, but they don't check into it.
13.
Like you don't you don't have to verify. You should
Yeah.
have to. For me, like when I do some things online, like job wise and stuff,
Hmm.
I got to take a picture of myself holding my ID. So why not, if you have a child, why not have the parents hold a picture of their ID for
Hmm.
their child to get approval into
Well,
this
that works
account?
for the very young, but still, the age is. I know on YouTube, anyways. The age is 13, which is still very young. At 13, like all that is going to happen. All that bad dynamic. It's not because I don't think they can like. It's not a question of them being smart enough. It's not a question of is are they going to see things online that they shouldn't. It's nothing like that. That's not what I'm more worried about is what the impact is on them socially, on the like, because like I say, the bully never goes away now. The bully follows you, and that's danger. That is not good. And I mean, even adults, the bullies follow the people. Like, even we have cancel culture. We have like, this is how people are using the internet, right? To
Hmm.
cancel each other, it's ridiculous. It is highly ridiculous. Like, if we can't have conversations about things and all we do is cancel each other, and I mean, we're all the bully. Like, if you want to cancel people, you're a bully. That's the way it works. And in the
Hmm.
schoolyard, that's what they call you, the bully. So, in case anybody was thinking about canceling someone, then you're a bully. But again, in this day and age, it's because it's me, 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 me. So what do I care about? Me. I wanna. So they don't care being the bully, being whatever. They'll come and bash on people. But again, that's humanity too. It's always been humanity, and it's just right now everything about humanity is put on steroids. If we're nice, we're extra nice. If we're bad, we're extra bad. If we're but sometimes I wonder, I think it might in the end end up being a good thing. Or we may destroy everything. I don't know. But if it becomes a good thing, that'd be good. Because right now we're when we say there's an awakening going on, for me, part of that is awakening to our true nature. It's seeing on the internet that we're all a bunch of assholes, right? Then what do? You go, okay, so, no, I'm a nice guy. No, no, look, you're just the same as all the rest of us, and you've bullied this person, and so now everybody's canceling everybody or doing shit
Hmm.
like that until we realize that everybody can be canceled. Every single human being, I can, if I dig long enough, I'll find you a reason to cancel them. Why not? Because we all are humans. We all falter. We all do stupid shit. We all do crazy stuff. We all make bad decisions. We all end up in situations where we make a bunch of decisions that we never even thought were possible we would make. Right? So, but I think the internet is like showing us that nobody's not that, and it's important because we had too many people pretend that they weren't that. They were the humans that only have good traits. Yes, as if that doesn't exist. So anytime I meet somebody that says, "Oh no, I don't have any, I'm a good person. I don't do anything bad. I don't blah blah," I stay far. That person one day is gonna snap at me something fierce because they'll be nice with me every day while I step all over their boundaries because I don't know because they're being nice. And then one day, after 6 months of me stepping over their boundaries without knowing, they will snap, punch me in the face, and go, "You asshole, you've been doing this for 6 months." Ah! And I'll be like, "Okay, you could have said it from the first day." Oh,
I didn't do that.
okay. Who did?
I didn't mean to touch that.
That's okay. But yeah, so it's, I don't know. I don't know, Jill. The human beings are so, we're incredible, and at the same time, we're all messed up, and we think we know more about ourselves than we do. I think
Hmm.
we truth is none of us know. Well, I don't know. Maybe. Maybe some of us. Who knows?
I think we're all just gonna all be on the journey to find out forever.
I think we may not find out either. Well, we'll find out at
Maybe
some
not
point.
in this lifetime.
Yes. Okay, that's here's a good question. Why do people come all the time in spiritual circles and in groups and whatever, and they all hold the belief that we chose to be here, and then they go, "Oh, if I got to choose again, I would never come back here," and "Oh, if I," and it's like,
Yeah, you
like,
would.
yeah, you would. This is the best place to be. This is like, this is what every being in, like, in any stratosphere, this is where they all want to go. And here we are going like, "Oh, this is shit, man." No, it's an amazing place. It's all the energy that's in all the other places, but in touchable form. That is
Hmm.
amazing. That is like some dense energy here. Because that's energy. And yet, I can touch it, I can hold it. It's solid. So, yeah, that's one heck of a feat. Like creating solid energy. And so we get the chance to go live in solid energy, and then we complain about it. Because, well, living in solid energy comes with living with solid suffering. Because, yeah, that's just life. So, um, is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
No.
I think we're pretty good.
Yep, we are.
It's been an hour. I'm tired.
We we thank you all for joining us as always. We will be live again 1 week from tonight at 7 Central, 8 Eastern Time. I think it might be 5 Pacific. I'm not sure
Pacific
about the
will
other
be,
ones.
yes,
Yeah,
5.
5. Um,
Yeah, please share, comment, um, do a like. Guys, like the video. If nothing else, just do a little like. It costs nothing to you, and it pushes the algorithm to say, "Hey, these guys are relevant." So make Facebook, YouTube, whichever we are watching on, make them think we're relevant. Make them, tell them, "Hey, we like these guys. We want to see more of them." And then maybe we'll have a whole bunch of people and a whole bunch of conversations in the chat. And but really, guys, like, you got to help us here because we're starting. So any like, any comment, anything you do on our And join us on the page every once in a while. We do little posts. We do not as often as I'd like. I try to do them, but then I forget. But I mean, yeah, come and interact with us. We really like it when you guys show up and make comments, ask questions. That's why we're here.
Right. All right. Well, we will see y'all 1 week from tonight. Have a good night, everybody.
Take care, you guys.
Bye.